Hi, I'm Dr. Jane Tabor, audiologist at Washington State Center for Childhood Deafness and Hearing Loss at the Washington School for the Deaf. And in this video, we're going to be discussing how you perform a hearing aid / listening check. And basically, there's three things you want to think about. You want to do a physical check, a battery check, and a listening check. And we're going to discuss each of those in detail. For the physical check, you want to take a look at the hearing aid, kind of examine it, see if there's any cracks, any missing components, if the tone hook is missing or the battery door is missing, any knobs or buttons that don't look like they're working right, any screws that might be missing or loose. You want to take a look at the ear mold itself, see if it has any cracks, any holes. You want to take a look at the tubing. Doesn't look like it's working properly. Battery door, for example, is an important one. You want to take a look at the tone hook. Is that loose? You want to take a look at the ear mold itself. Are there any cracks, any holes? You want to take a look at the sound bore. Is there any wax occluding the sound? You also want to take a look at the tubing. Is it hard? Is it brittle? Does it have any holes or any tears in that? The next thing you want to do is do a battery check. So you take the old battery out, kind of inspect it, see if there's any corrosion. If it looks okay, go ahead and use a battery tester to see if it's still working and see how much battery power it has. Battery testers come in a variety of styles. There's little small ones like this, bigger ones that you drop the battery inside, some that you just set the battery on top of based on the size. But all of them will have little instructions on them. Some have indicators of which side you need to put on there, positive or negative. Some have a little picture that shows you which way you need to face the battery. It's important to note that the positive side of the battery is usually the rounded side, and the flat side is the negative side. Important to remember. So once you've tested your battery and it looks okay, you can go ahead and put it back in. If it's not, then you want to go ahead and replace it with a new battery. So you just find the appropriate size. And batteries come in a variety of sizes. So once you've selected the appropriate size battery, you go ahead and open up the package. Pop it out. The important part to remember is to pull the tab off. These are zinc air batteries, so by pulling the tab off, that's what actually activates the battery. And once you pull the tab off, putting it back on is not going to matter. So don't pull the tab off until you're ready to use it. Next, you want to go ahead and put it in the hearing aid itself. So normally the rounded side of the hearing aid goes down and sits in the cradle so that the flat side is facing up. And then you go ahead and close it. It's important to make sure that the battery door is all the way closed. Some hearing aids, especially pediatric hearing aids, have double hinged battery doors so that you can open it and say you're not using it. So you want to make sure you feel it snap and then you hear the hearing aid come on. Once you close the battery door, you can put the hearing aid in your hand and you should hear some feedback. So the next thing you want to do is you want to do a listening check of the hearing aid. You might want to get yourself a listening stethoscope. So once you put the battery in and the hearing aid is powered on, depending on the type of hearing aid you have, most of them come on automatically nowadays. Some older styles have a switch on the back that says M, T, or might have a program number. The M is for microphone, and you want to make sure it's on the microphone setting and not the T setting. That's the telecoil setting, and you won't hear anything through the ear mold if you do that. So once you've ensured that it's on and that it's working, you've done your hand check, go ahead and take the end of the listening stethoscope and connect it to the end of the mold. And you can go ahead and run your fingers over the microphone, blow into the microphone. You should hear like a static noise. And then you want to do a Ling6 sound check. And the Ling6 sounds are these sounds right here. Ah, oo, ee, sh, s, m. And sometimes I will quickly say those into the microphone and test the sound fidelity or sound quality to make sure it sounds good. Next, once I've ensured that the sound quality is good on the hearing aid, I go ahead and give it to the child, and I'll do a listening comprehension check with them. So after you've assured that the hearing aid sounds good, you want to go ahead and give that back to the child. It's important that when you give the hearing aid back to the child, either they put it on themselves and you make sure that the ear mold part is fully inserted into the ear, or if you do it yourself to make sure that there's no sound leaking out. You can even run your hand over the ear. There shouldn't be any feedback. that lets you know that the ear mold is all the way in. So I'll have them either turn away from me or face me with something in front of my mouth, like a speech screen. And I'll go ahead and do the Link 6 sound check. I expect them to be able to repeat it back to me eventually, all 6. That tells me that they're able to, that their hearing aid is appropriately set up. If they can't do some of the sounds, for example, like the S sound, that means we might need to look at the hearing aid settings. The Link 6 sound check, oo, e, sh, s, And the reason we use those sounds is because they cover the frequency range for speech. And that gives us an idea of how the hearing aid is functioning. If they're not able to get one of those sounds, such as the s sound, which is a high frequency sound that occurs around 4,000 hertz, then that's something that the audiologist may need to look at to adjust for them. Okay, so let's talk about a listening kit for yourself. We're going to talk about each of the components that you might want to have in your kit at home or at school. One is the listening stethoscope, and you can go online and Google listening stethoscope, and you can order them from a variety of places. You might also want to get a battery tester, which you can get from Radio Shack. You can also order them online as well. An ear mold blower. And basically how you do this, if there's any debris stuck in the tube, any wax stuck in the ear mold part that you're not able to get to, you want to go ahead and order one of these and put it in the top of the tube, and it'll blow out any debris or moisture that's stuck inside. Cleaning tools is something else you want to go ahead and order, and you can get these from your audiologist. You can also order them online. Basically you want to make sure you get a wax pick. Some come in a combination where they have a brush on one side, wax pick on the other, or you can order them separately where you get the brush separately. But basically the brush is for the microphone ports. If any debris gets stuck in there, you can clean it out. And the pick is for the ear mold part. You put it in the sound bore to pick out any wax that might be occluding the sound. Another thing you want to consider getting is a dry cloth for wiping off any debris that might be on the hearing aid, as well as some audio wipes, which you can also get from your audiologist or order online. And these are basically, they're similar to alcohol wipes, but without alcohol. They're safe to use on soft vinyls and acrylics and things like that. And this is basically, you put this on the ear mold, helps the ear mold slide in and out of the child's ear more easily. Especially important if it's a new ear mold. Kids, they go through ear molds pretty often, so it might be something important you want to include in your kit. So anyone can do a listening check. It can be done by the classroom teacher, it can be done by the paraprofessional, it can be done by your speech and language pathologist. Anybody that interacts with that child can do it, because oftentimes the child won't tell you if anything's happening with their hearing. They may not know, or they may not know to tell you. So it's important that we're doing those checks to ensure that they are getting maximum audibility every day.